What's going on, everybody? Spoiler-heavy review here. Probably a shorter review because we got a big Sith Council discussion tonight, but spoiler review Andor, Episode 8. A lot went down. Lots going down. How you doing? Nice to see you. Man, there's so much on the channel right now. The big news with the DC and James Gunn and Tales of the Jedi reactions and reviews. If you didn't see the House of the Dragon stuff that we did, we've got Capes and Cowls, big thing, so much stuff on the channel right now. And then I'm going to have a Black Panther out of the theater reaction tonight. So if you're brand new to the channel and you haven't already subscribed, I just told you about so much stuff that we do have. So I hope that you check it out. And before we get into it, I want to thank Carbon Health for sponsoring this video, man. Carbon Health, they rule. They're the best. And if you don't know Carbon Health, they have over 110 locations nationwide. They have 80 locations alone in California, the Bay Area, Los Angeles, Sacramento, North San Diego. They have urgent care needs at all locations. And it's pretty great because everyone deserves a healthcare provider who's an active partner supporting you in your effort to feel better and to live healthier. They have care teams that support, and they have resources that they need to help to focus and build a relationship with you. It's pretty great. I think they're awesome. They believe that the healthcare industry is broken, but it doesn't have to be. It can be fixed, and that's what they're doing every day at Carbon Health with their healthcare. So please check them out. We love them. We're so excited to have them. We've been working with them for a little bit. So without any further ado, let's get into Andor. Remember me like THX a little bit too, the old George Lucas one. I think that was kind of the point with what they do with the prison here. And I was worried about if they were going to spend too much time in the prison, if the whole episode was just going to be the prison. And for Andor's storyline, it certainly was. But they didn't just stay there. They moved around a lot. They moved to Mon Mothma. They moved to Luthen. They moved to Luthen and Saw. They moved to Bix. They moved to the Empire. I mean, they moved all over. And these episodes are now getting a little longer now, anywhere between, probably with credits, realistically around 45 minutes. But that's longer than most of the live-action Star Wars consistently. The first 3 episodes, I think, were like, well, the first one, I think, was 30 minutes. Second one was like 34 minutes, and the third one was long. And they've been longer moving in. But there were so many surprises in this one. There were so many familiar faces in this one. Now, familiar in actors, questions with familiar in character for one particular, but we'll get into that in just a moment. But Andor he's just on vacation. Like Axel Foley, I'm on vacation. He was on vacation, and he got arrested for what? Nothing. Thrown in the cell, and now he's building stuff out, and he's wearing his little outfit. Yeah, but the more and more though with this show though, as it goes on, it's just so detailed. And as I'm watching, there's a particular scene when Cyril is talking with the lead woman who's the Empire head, or running the investigation for the Empire, and she's so smart. By the way, I love the character. She's just going through what she does with Bix. She's like, I want her to see him. Oh, what are you doing? Why is he still in here? Get him out of here. The mental warfare that she plays with everybody, and even with Cyril when she's talking to him. But that particular scene with Cyril when she's talking to him, I said to myself, this seems like a page out of one of the novels, out of the canon novels that they would write. And it just made me say even more so, this just proves, and this isn't based off of a novel, it's just a very well-written series, but it was just like, if they adapted their novels, they could do more series like this with how involved everything is. And because the conversation that she has with him, and the conversation in generally little moments that you pick up throughout this about certain, Fiona Shaw's character, about how she was the president of this one particular place at one point, and how Vel came from this running away from her rich upbringing, and how that was just kind of thrown as a dig. The other thing, Mon Mothma getting married at a younger age and married off because of the culture that she was in. Just like there's like little things and sprinkled into dialogue that you learn so much more about the character throughout the episode that just doesn't happen in a lot of these Star Wars shows recently. And then it has happened here. And that detail is in a lot of their novels. And I've been preaching this to you guys, because you all, I think a lot of you agree, because I never understood the argument of like, well, if I read it, So for Star Wars, people say this: "Oh, if I read it, then they need to change it up because of canon stuff, and they wouldn't know, and you would know what's going on, and it wouldn't be as good." What are you talking about? House of the Dragon comes from stuff that was written. Everybody knew what was going to happen. That read the books, everybody knew what was going to happen in that season finale. I didn't, but people did, and it still was an effect. Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings, all those things, and I still think that you can do that, and especially now, I think Andor is proving it with how detailed this show is with what's happening in this. And I like the idea that they're staying there. And it's not like we had our big action thing. This is another lead up, and how the hell are they going to get Andor out of this place? And Luthen has to shut things down. Luthen is being questioned. You're slipping. He's like, I'm not slipping. And he starts thinking about Andor, trying to figure out where Andor is. And then Bix gets herself in trouble, gets other people in trouble because she's trying to help out because Fiona Shaw is on her way out. So there's so much at stake, and people are trying. And I love the conversation. And I'm between Bix and her lover, and they're having the conversation, and it's like Bix is like, well, haven't we given enough? Should we take a break? It's like Empire doesn't break. Empire doesn't take a break. Empire is not going to give you time to rest. We gotta move. Because the second that was kind of the theme of it all, is that you gotta be in sync, and that conversation that Luthen has with Saw, he's like, I know what you're trying to do, and I get it, but we've got to all be on the same page, because if we're not on the same page, it's just going to be chaos. And that's ultimately what Saw is, as we know him leading into Rogue One. But I thought that conversation was brilliant. You learned so much about the two of them and their relationship in general, and where Luthen is as a character and what he's trying to do. And he's the ultimate architect of this bigger rebellion. And I love how they're feeling each other out in the beginning, like, You did that heist. No, you did it. And it's like, oh, whoever did it, respect. And you both know who did it. But it was a great moment between the two of them, Skarsgård and Forrest Whitaker. Great to see Forrest Whitaker back, by the way. But so much. Now, obviously, Andor is put in this cell, and then this is the scene I was talking about. This scene when Cyril's just being investigated. Not investigated, but it's questioned, and he's trying to show his worth. And it did. It reminded me of like something that you would read in one of the novels. And then Mon Mothma now is pulling is really all in, playing the politician and working to really start to build funds to help the rebellion overall. And it shows how important that is. You see Luthen is the one getting his hands dirty, doing all these things, setting the missions in play, and Mon has to work from the inside even more so, and how important of a piece she ultimately is for this thing to work, and ultimately what she becomes. Because Luthen ain't gonna last that long, because they're looking for him now, as we found out in this episode too, with they know he exists, they just don't know who he is. And then there he is. In wrestling terms, big pop when Andy Serkis shows up. Andy Serkis is probably my favorite actor out there. I've loved Andy Serkis for a long time. Not only have I the pleasure to meet the man, and he's one of the most kind, he's just such a kind individual, but he's very talented, and he has just created so many iconic characters over the years, and he's just great. I just watched him recently in what the hell was it, Ultron again, and he pops off the screen when he shows up, because there's just something, he's just not acting. He just becomes whoever the person is. And the question is, and people are asking this question already, is this a version of Snoke? This, he was, obviously Snoke was cloned into the Emperor and Emperor's image, and who was the specimen? Was it this character? Was it Serkis' character, or is he just playing kind of a random dude because it was Andy Serkis and we wanted to give him a role? I'm okay with either one. If it turns out that this is the guy, he's working for the Empire, and they use him for something, for experiments down the line, he winds up becoming the Emperor's experiment, okay, fine. But just to have him back was so awesome, and he's so good, just kind of being the one tossing him down the line, telling him what to do, and being the overall steward of this whole thing. loved having Andy Serkis back. He's just the best. And watching him and Diego Luna together, I mean, how special was that? I love both of these guys. So to watch them together in these scenes was pretty magical. Both of them. So we get the return of both Andy Serkis and Forrest Whitaker in Forrest definitely in his role that he played in not only Rogue One, not only in Rebels and some of the video games, but now he returns in Andor, and it was great to see him back. And you see this, he's still this chiseled. He goes into this descent of madness by the time we get to Rogue One, because if you look at what happened, Rebels, when he's working with Kanan and those guys, he's got his wits together. When it's in what's the other one? Shoot, the one with Cal Kestis. But he's whatever, I can't remember the name of it. I'm telling you, I haven't had all my coffee yet, but you know what I'm talking about. Anyway, he's in that, and his voice is he's still got his wits together in that too. So he's starting this one. You kind of see even the beginning of the conversation with Luthen. He's got his marbles are all there, but there's hints of he's starting to lose it a little bit. But either way, great to have both those guys back in an absolutely crucial episode. It's going to turn out to be, again, with Mon Mothma playing the smiling politician. Oh, and then there's House of the Dragon. Perfect. So anyway, this is a setup. Once again, I think it's a 2-episode arc. They're going to have to break him out somehow. They're going to have to find out where the hell he is. But now Bix is in trouble too, because Bix got captured. So how the hell are they going to get Bix out? Is this going to be one of those major missions, or is Bix done for? I don't think she's done for, because she signed on for season 2. So it seems like she'll be around. But are they going to break her out? They're going to do a total Star Wars mission, find a way to get her out, someone on the inside. Because if we're starting to pepper in these, and I love that they peppered in the characters. We saw 2 tubes. I call him Tony 2 Tubes. But we got 2 tubes, and he's we see the return of him. We see the return of Saul. We see the return of Andy Serkis. Obviously, Mon Mothma, the conversations they're having with the Empire. I'm pretty sure it was Yularen, right, that she's talking to? I thought it was. Anyway, either way, they're having these conversations that are leading more so into familiar territory. I think Bail Organa will probably show up sooner or later, if not in the finale, because I had no idea, and I'd love to get your thoughts on this, and please put this in the comments section. Did you hear that Andy Serkis was in this, or was this a total surprise? For me, it was a total surprise. The same way, now it's all over Twitter, but when I was watching Tales of the Jedi, Bryce Dallas Howard shows up as Yaddle. Didn't know Yaddle was in it. Didn't know that Bryce Dallas Howard voiced Yaddle. So that was a surprise as well, and they held that in for a while. I wish they would have held that Bryce Dallas Howard thing until after the episode. It was a big surprise for me when I was watching it, and then they announced it all over the place, and I was like, oh, okay. But either way, it was more effective. You know, if I knew Andy was going to be in it, I'd obviously be really excited and want to watch it even more. But the fact that they held that in and he just showed up, interesting. It also makes me realize if they held that in, they didn't announce it, is he playing like a version of Snoke down the line? I don't know. I don't know how relevant it is to this overall story. So maybe not. I have no idea. But I think, again, like I said, once it starts to form, we're going to start seeing a lot of this stuff, whether it's Hera. I don't know if they're going to do Kanan. I can't imagine that they would at that point. I mean, I don't know. Are they going to tie it into Rebels? I'm so curious. God, I love this show. It's such a great show. Anyway, love to get your thoughts overall. As I've been asking people when you're watching this video, obviously please click a like, but put a comment in there, because I've tried to get to as many comments as I can. I try to have a conversation, but I really want to see people's overall thoughts. And like everything else, you know, if you be respectful of people in a conversation, I absolutely love when people say, I'm not digging this show. I just find it dull because of this and that, and it just hasn't caught me because of these reasons. I don't think that anybody should go after anybody for saying that, when I don't necessarily agree with that. But it doesn't mean you shouldn't say it. If you think it's great, you think it's wonderful, people shouldn't call you out for saying that. If you just, again, express yourselves in a nice way, have a conversation here, because that's what we're trying to encourage on this channel. Because I like to hear their thoughts. That's why we do this, right? I want you to feel like you're having a conversation with me, and I'd like to have that actual conversation. So please comment, Click a like. It helps with the. It also helps with the algorithm. It also helps people find the channel, and more people have been finding the channel. And if you have found the channel, do me a favor and subscribe. Hit that button. We're almost at 70,000. We're closing into 60. 70's right down the road. So by the end of the year, hoping to get 70. We hope you can help us out. So thank you guys so much for joining us. This was Andor. This was the episode 8. Man, oh, we're almost there at the end. All right, everybody. Thank you. Talk to you soon. Peace.